So I'm kind of excited to bring this to you because it's such a simple table and it's easily understood. It talks about home values and chronologically, where does it bring us back to value-wise if our homes have decreased by 10, 15, 20, 25%. So in other words, if our home has decreased by 10% in value in the past 6 months, does that bring us back to 2020 prices, 2021 prices? And before we get into this, we have to remember that our home values, for the most part, have increased 25 to 40% just in the past 2 years, kind of prime COVID times, if that makes any sense. So let's say your home has decreased in value 10%. That brings us back to October 2021 values. If our home prices have decreased by 20%, which is a pretty steep, quick drop, that brings us back to February 2021 levels. Now, let's say at the very bottom of this table, and it's included in this email, values drop 25%. And in most markets right now, they've dropped about 7, 8, 10%, maybe some markets about 15%, but let's say they drop 25%. And if we remember back in 07, 08, those prices dropped about 30 to 45%. So if we drop 25%, our home values are back to the level of October 2020. And I'm bouncing around with dates and values and percentages because it's kind of cool to recognize, because it puts us into perspective that we gained a whole lot of equity, a whole lot of value in 2 years, and now we're scaling that back a bit. And it's, how much of that chunk are we losing in equity? This table breaks that down. Now, I want to talk about the real dangers of this scenario, and then also the things that we don't have to really worry about, or the things that most people don't worry about. The real danger comes into play when, let's say you're a buyer, you want to purchase a home, you want to do a few quick changes in this market, in a declining market. That's going to be really difficult, and that's really rolling the dice, and you have a good chance of losing money. Because if you enter a house and you buy it, and you have 3, 6, 9 months of rehab, and you're trying to get in, get out, within 6 months or so, in a down market, you either have to account for another 5, 10, 15% of losses value-wise just to play it safe. And if you're not a seasoned investor, this is probably something that you don't want to do. That's a lot easier to do in a steady market, a neutral market, or an increasing market, of course. But for the most part, I'll be honest, I'm kind of an average Joe real estate agent. I work with a lot of families and kind of investors looking to buy 2 to 4 units, that sort of deal. For the most part, people are trying to buy homes right now. And for the last 1 or 2 years, their goal is to buy the home and stay in the home. And if they're on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, their payments are stable and they're fixed. Their goal is to stay in the home for a few years at least. So they're not, if their values drop down a little bit and go up, they're okay with that. So we can still get out there, we can still shop and still find deals.